Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a clip for you from Judge Nelson in Texas. He has got parents that are arguing over parenting time. The father has supervised visitation, and his mother is the supervisor. So she drove 7.5 hours to pick up the child, and mom was a no-show. So she had to turn around and go 7.5 hours back, which was completely wrong. But I'll let you guys watch.
Clerk's going to go ahead and call. Falls County calls number CV 41,657. This is in the 82nd Judicial District Court of Falls County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Eersen, the minor child. Non-custodial party being Shamar Eersen, custodial party being Arisha McDavid. The court will know for the record that both the parties are present. Ms. McDavid is present with counsel. Ms. Greenwood, the court will know for the record that Mr. Eersen is present. Mr. Eersen has informed the court that he has, or he has informed the ad litem that he has retained legal counsel. The court has contacted the district clerk's office of Falls County, Texas, and as of 3 p.m., there has not been anything filed in his behalf by an attorney, and there is nothing to show that this attorney is before the court this time. So the court is going to go ahead and proceed with the hearing that was scheduled at this juncture. The court will note that the ad litem is present with witnesses, the mother is present with counsel, and the state is present. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with you, Ms. Farrer, to tell the court what you're requesting we do here today on behalf of your clients, who you're going to be calling as witnesses. And I'll see about putting them into individual breakout rooms because the court is going to invoke the rule to allow the court to get their true testimony, not based on anything they may have heard in court. So I'll start with you, Ms. Farrer, and then I'll give Ms. Greenwood and Mr. Moon the opportunity to respond. And I'll go ahead and give Mr. Eersen the opportunity to respond also, and see and get some data from him to see who he may have hired and when they plan on finding an answer in his behalf. So again, you may start, Ms. Farrer. Thank you.
Yes, sir. In light of Mr. Eersen having retained counsel and a couple things that are still up in the air with regard to where the parties are going to live, I believe both of them are in plans to relocate, possibly. And so, and that will have a significant impact on the visitation schedule. I would ask that the court enter a temporary order today with regard to the issue of visitation. As the court may recall, the last time we were here, there was a substantial issue related to the visitation, in that the child had indicated that she was spending the nights when she was at Mr. Eersen's home and during his periods of possession at Mr. Eersen's girlfriend's house. And that raised significant concerns for me, in that the child, in that Mr. Eersen had a criminal case resulting from a violation of protective order involving that woman. And so that created a whole lot of issues there. Since that time, I have been able to speak with the Ms. Rader, Lena Rader, who is was the victim in that protective order hearing. She's here to testify today as to the last time she had contact with Mr. Eersen, any concerns that she had with the parties, and the fact that the child did not spend the night at her house during the period of time that the child indicated, which calls into question possibly some coaching of the child, which concerns me as the attorney for the child. My second witness is Marilyn Eersen, who is the grandmother of my client. She has been the appointed supervisor for Mr. Eersen's periods of possession, and I believe that she is going to testify as to how those visitations have taken place, Mr. Eersen's care of the child, and Ms. Eersen also's continued commitment to making sure that the visitations are safe and appropriate, and that any concerns that were to arise, that she would bring them to the attention of the court, because she is concerned for the well-being of her granddaughter. So I'm asking for a temporary possession order. In light of the distance between the parties, I would ask for some summer, perhaps a week, for Mr. Eersen, as he lives in Louisiana. And then the school year, I believe Harley's going to be starting kindergarten in August. And so perhaps an SPO kind of weekend situation come August.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Farrer. Ms. Greenwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. As Ms. Farrer said, that we had some issues regarding the extent of what's happening during these supervised visits. My client, Ms. McDavid, still has those concerns regarding Mr. Eersen being properly supervised. We're still asking for those visitations to occur. We're not asking for those visitations to occur in Houston versus not Houston, in Texas versus Louisiana, and where he's able to get the child for a period of time, and then, you know, Ms. McDavid will pick the child back up. And so we're asking for the visitation to be here in Texas versus in Louisiana, because she does have concern about it being properly supervised. And we will question the witnesses that they have there in regards to that. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Moon.
Your Honor, of course, we will defer to the court regarding the possession issues. I just remind the court that retroactive child support is reserved, but in light of the Friday afternoon, if we're going to make this a temporary order, let's continue to reserve that for final hearing.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Moon. All right, then, Ms. Farrer, I'm going to let you call your witnesses. So which one needs to go into a breakout room with the rule being invoked? Who you want to do first, ma'am?
I can do Ms. Rader first. That's Lena, and then have Ms. Eersen go into the breakout room, sir.
All right, Ms. Eersen, I'm going to put you in a breakout room by yourself. I think you were here at the last hearing, weren't you, ma'am?
I believe
You're
she
muted,
was,
ma'am.
sir.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Just in case you didn't know, like I said, we're invoking what's called the rule. The rule is that witnesses don't stay in the main courtroom where other witnesses are testifying. And when it's your turn to testify, you'll be brought out. And that way we can get a true information from you, so the exact facts that you know without it getting any bleed over facts from another witness. So at this time, ma'am, I'm gonna go ahead and
Excuse me, Your Honor, I'm not trying to cut you off. She just said her phone is messed up in a different room. Do you want me to bring her the phone?
I'm sorry?
She just told me she was trying to tap in to answer whatever you just asked her. She said her phone messed up. Would you like me to bring her the phone?
You got another phone?
I'm in my own separate area. She's in her own separate area. She just told me something happened with the phone. I'm asking, do you want me to bring her the phone?
What she has to do is she needs to log off and try and come back in, and then I'm going to put her in the breakout room. So tell her that she needs to go ahead and log off and come back in and see if we can get her with proper video and audio. Thank you.
Your
Perhaps
Honor,
if we can keep her in the waiting room, that might solve the problem as well.
All right, then.
Your Honor, may I ask a question? I just have my question is with the Lena. I know there's a protective order with Lena and Mr. Eersen. I just want to make sure that we're not in violation, that this wouldn't count as a contact, since he's not supposed to have any contact.
Well, court, I've done dozens of protective orders. I don't think it ever counted by the in court. Of course, and I never did one with Zoom, but I'm assuming that's going to be the same circumstance. So
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you, Your Honor.
all right. Well, she went over to the breakout room. Hopefully, when she comes back in, we can get her her audio will be fine. So at this time, ma'am, what's your last name again, please? Nika. You're muted, ma'am. Please unmute yourself. Okay, ma'am, if it's not letting you unmute, there you go.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
you can go ahead and turn off your video, and that makes help with the audio signal. Okay, thank you. All right,
Okay.
ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you?
I do.
All right, ma'am, please state your full name for the record.
Lena Rader.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. You are now a witness, and allow Ms. Farrer to begin the examination of you as a witness, and then the other lawyers will chime in a moment. Thank you. You may proceed, Ms. Farrer.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vader, how are you connected to this case? Who do you know?
Mr. Eersen is my ex.
Okay. And when you say ex, were y'all ever married, or were y'all just dating?
We were never married. Live-in romantic relationship.
Okay. How long did y'all date, and when did you break up?
We dated for approximately a year and some change. But then once the court started getting more involved, we distanced from each other. So
when you say that the court's involved, is that the criminal matters that wherein you were the complaining witness, the victim?
yes.
Okay. And we've heard testimony in past hearings about a violation of protective order and a protective order that were issued, wherein you were the protected person, and Mr. Eersen was the person who was being restrained. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And when is the last time that you saw Mr. Eersen?
In court, when I agreed for him to plead guilty to a misdemeanor rather than because it was a felony charge. And so I contacted the DA's office. I agreed to that. And then, so there was a court hearing where he was sentenced to probation, but there are currently no protective orders in place. In the midst of the chaos, Mr. Eersen also did a temporary order against me. And when we returned to court for that, the judge just threw it out with prejudice. So I agreed to also just let go of the protective orders. So there are no protective orders in place at this time.
There is a condition of probation wherein he is not to have contact with you. Is that correct? Or do you know?
I believe so. I'm not sure, but maybe so. Yeah.
Okay. But either way, you have not had contact with him since y'all went to court sometime earlier in the spring, maybe April. Is that correct?
Correct. Whatever that court date was, because I did attend court where they did, like I said, the lesser plea in his sentencing. And so I was there for that. And that was the last time I saw him.
Okay. Have you spoken to him on the phone since then?
No.
Okay. When is the last time that you saw Harley?
It has been a while. Per the conversation we had previously, I went through my phone to try to find pictures to go back through dates. And I think the last time that I was around her was probably, it was definitely before her birthday of 23. So it's definitely been a year. I feel like it's been more than a year at this point since the last time I've seen Harley.
Okay, so sometime in calendar year 2023.
Yes.
Okay. And this is kind of a silly question, but has Harley been, slept at your house in this calendar year?
No.
Okay. All right. And have you had contact with Miss McDavid recently?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What contact have you had with Miss McDavid?
I think it was approximately June 9th-ish. I contacted her by text message because we live in a small town. Everybody knows everybody. And speaking to friends and cousins of his, of course, I'm finding out that he's dealing with child custody issues. He wants to spend time with Arisha, but he can't. And she's saying that the reason is because of you. And so I reached out to her basically saying, hey, I come in peace. I don't want you to use me as any type of weapon or whatever, pawn or to come between the two of them. Like that was the basic gist of it. And she said that I was misinformed and that wasn't the case. And, she was just concerned about his temper, but she said she doesn't have a problem with me. And so, yeah.
When you say that for the two of them to spend time together, you're talking about Harley and Shamar, is that correct?
Correct. Because it was getting back to me that the reason was because of me.
Okay. And so if Harley told me that she had spent the night at your house during a meeting with her where her mom brought her in, that she had spent the night at your house in the last couple months, is that true?
No, it is not.
Okay. What kind of relationship did you have with Harley when you and Mr. Eersen were together?
I had a very good relationship with Harley. I think that Shamar's mother, just as somebody who observed, because she was often around when we were there, when Shamar and I were there together. Harley and I had a very good relationship. She wanted to be around me. We went places, we got snowballs, there was never any issue between Harley and I. We had a very good relationship.
Okay, so would she have known your name?
Yes, she called me Nika.
Nika, okay. Has your nickname ever been girlfriend?
Girlfriend?
Yes.
No, all she's ever called me is Nika.
Okay, so if Harley had said that she spent the night with girlfriend, is that you?
No.
Okay.
Wrong.
Okay. And let's see here. Have you had conflict with Miss McDavid in the past?
I have. I specifically said I come in peace when I contacted her earlier this month because I was highly upset. There were a few incidences, but I was very upset on one account. She said that apparently Harley said that I popped her.
Okay, here's the amount here. Don't testify to anything the child said. You can testify to anything that Miss McDavid said, but don't testify.
That's what I mean. Yes.
Okay.
That's Miss McDavid said that Harley said that
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor, it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's admission of a party opponent. So I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to rule the objection. I'm letting in. So let's go ahead and let's speed this one up, then, Ms. Fair. Thank you. She needs to be. Right. She asked. I need to give Ms. Greenwood and Mr. Moon a chance to cross-examine. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And very quickly, so after Ms. McDavid told you that, did you have conflict with Ms. McDavid?
Yes, she also hacked. This was early in Shamar's and I relationship prior to us having any type of protective orders or anything like that. She hacked into his iCloud and shared private videos and photos with third parties. I was highly upset about that.
Let me stop you there. Let's when you say
that's an absolute lie.
Miss McDavid.
Miss McDavid, you do not open your mouth again until you're spoken to, ma'am. You understand? You interrupt my court one more time, guess who gets to go to Falls County Jail for a couple of nights, all right? We don't do this, all right? Thank you. And ma'am, stop drinking during court also. That's not if that's water, that's fine. I'm sorry. I won't get on you drinking anything, but the bottom line is, ma'am, don't interrupt the other witness. You'll get your chance to testify. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Rader, you said that she hacked into the iCloud. Miss Arisha?
Yes.
Okay, and whose iCloud did she hack into?
Shamar's.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Your Honor,
I understand that they had problems, Miss Farrer. I don't think we have to go too far down this path. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. In
other words, I'm going to sustain that objection. Let's move on. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And putting the hacking to the side, has Mr. McDavid ever done anything that has harmed you?
No,
objection, relevance. So go ahead, Your Honor. Sorry. Go ahead, take it back.
All right, she's already answered, so okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay. All right. And so in the interactions that you have seen between Mr. Eersen and Harley, have you seen anything that has concerned you? Mind you, you haven't seen this child this calendar year.
Correct. I have not. But the time that she was around me, yes, lots of things concern me. I think both of them could stand for some parenting classes. There was a lot of using the child as a pawn early in our relationship. She, like, for example, the popping thing that came up, that only came up when she discovered that I was in the picture. Harley had already been around me and there were no issues. It was only when she discovered I existed that suddenly, you know, oh, Harley's getting popped, which I don't believe in corporal punishment at all. I don't hit children at all, period. I don't think that's the way. So I was offended. So that caused, of course, some feelings towards her with regard to that, because I co-founded a nonprofit about 6 years ago that is youth focused. So accusing me of popping a 2-year-old of all things, I was highly upset about that, quite frankly. And so that was an issue. Shamar would say, hey, can I spend time with Harley? She says, hey, let's go on a family vacation. If he says no, then he can't get Harley the next weekend.
Okay, all right, ma'am, you're going a little bit past the question, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, let's listen to the question and answer the question. Thank you.
Gotcha.
All right. And I believe,
no problems. So,
pardon me, ma'am?
No, it's okay. I was saying, I thought you had asked about what problems there were between Miss McDavid and I, other than her leaking my nudes and sending it to people.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. No, what was the question?
Okay. And at this point, I have forgotten what my question was. But in any case, I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, not a problem, ma'am. We're going to be back. I'll allow Ms. Farrah to ask some more questions in a moment she wishes, but this time, Ms. Greenwood, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lenika, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You mentioned that you got in contact with Miss McDavid. How did you have her phone number prior to that?
Yes, I've had her phone number ever since I've met Shamar and this whole ordeal of the battle of the mama and daddy started. So yes, I've had her number for a long time now. She reached our first contact.
Okay, ma'am, the question was, yeah, and you answered, yes, you had it, and we understand the context is this is not something recent that you've had this.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Thank you.
So you've had this number at least since 2023, correct?
22, yes.
22, okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And you mentioned that how did you know about the fact that Mr. Eersen was not getting Harley? How did you find that information out? Or I'm sorry, let me take that back. Who did you find that information? Who did you find that information from? Where did you get that information from?
We live in a very, very small town in Louisiana Gulf Coast, and we know a lot of mutual people, and people talk. So we're still in contact, even though we're not in contact with each other. We're still in contact with people who know each other and who know our family and friends. And so the fact that he was dealing with frustrations of not being able to get Harley got back to me through mutual family and friends, where it was like,
okay,
yeah,
ma'am, that's the answer. You got mutual friends, family. Thank you.
And you said mutual family and friends. Can you just, what family specifically?
Okay, here's the deal, Mr. Greenwood. I'm gonna stop you. I don't want the third parties to say it one way or the other. It's a small town, and people gonna start fighting against each other. So let's not get specific names. We just know that there were, and this is it is what it is. So you may proceed.
Well, that's why I reached out to her, because small town talk.
Got it. Thank you. And just for the record, Miss, since you contacted Miss McDavid, what's your phone number?
Oh, stop. We're on YouTube. I don't do that.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I don't give you, we don't, yeah, we're broadcasting. So if you need to contact her, I'll allow Miss Farrah to give you that information later. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
And just to confirm before the court, you did send Miss McDavid text messages, correct?
Correct.
In the month of June, correct?
Correct.
All right. And in those text messages, do you remember calling Mr. McDavid a liar?
calling Mr. McDavid. I don't
Oh, so
know.
not Mr. McDavid, Mr. Eersen, that he lies.
Oh,
You're-
absolutely. Yes. I vented relationship stuff for sure. Yes.
Okay, got it. And then in those text messages, did you in those text messages, did you also reference okay, we'll come back to that. So all right. And so your testimony is that you've had no contact with you haven't called Mr. Mr. Eersen, you haven't spoken to him, no text messages or anything.
No.
Okay. And the only information you're hearing regarding Harley is third party.
Correct. Mutual friends and family. Yes.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, I pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Moon.
I passed the witness. I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I didn't think that's within the state's roundhouse on that type of stuff. Anyway, Ms. Ferry, anything on redirect, ma'am?
Is there anything else, Ms. Rader, that you feel like the court needs to know from your perspective when making a decision with regard to visitation between Mr. Eersen and Harley?
I don't want to say too much because the judge told me not to ramble. But I will say, even with the challenges that he and I have had, the times that I was around when Harley was there, he always was a very good dad. I never saw him put her in any type of danger or anything like that, which quite frankly made me even more angry because I felt like, oh, so you can control your temper because you do it when your child is around, but then if she's not here, I'm dealing with a whole different shamar. So without getting into all of that, I'm just saying that, as long as I saw him around Harley, I certainly never put her in danger, and he never gave me any inkling of her being in any type of danger or anything like that at all.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Greenwood, anything else on brief recross, ma'am? Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. So just to clarify with the court, but when Mr. Irwin was with you, it wasn't the same experience that his daughter experienced in regards to fear or danger, correct? Is that your testimony?
Correct. We have long court file of the drama. Yeah, there was a lot of drama, but none of that ever occurred with Harley in any of it. And when you pull it up, you probably will be able to see that there are no children involved in any of it ever. Never, ever.
Got it. Okay. All right, Your Honor, I pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Moon?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Farah?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, then may the witness be excused, Ms. Farah.
Yes, please, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you're free to go at this time. Thank you very much for your testimony. And like I said, you can log out, you can hang around, you can do what you wish, please. But I'll go ahead and let Ms. Farah call the next witness, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I would call Marilyn Eersen, Your Honor, the paternal grandmother.
Let's move her back in. Hopefully this thing will work at this time. So I'll put it back in the main session. Ms. Eersen, here's the deal, ma'am. Go ahead, and if you can't get to tap the screen to get it to unmute, go ahead and bring up your number pad, and it's star 6. Is that correct? That should unmute.
Okay, I think I did it.
Yeah, you got it. You're live and vocal. So at this time, ma'am, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm or affirm your testimony you're gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, you're officially on the oath, and I'm gonna go ahead and allow Ms. Farah to go ahead and do the direct examination of you at this time, and then of course the other lawyers have the opportunity to cross. So at this time, ma'am, please state your full name for the record and your relationship to the parties involved here today, ma'am. Thank you.
Marilyn J. Eersen. I'm Shamar's mother.
And ma'am, you can go ahead and turn off your video if you wish. So that way you got a little bit of lag.
Okay. All right. Now, Ms. Eersen, you said that you are Shamar's mother. Is that correct?
Grandmother.
Grandmother, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Okay. And
Harley's
so Harley's grandmother, Shamar's mother, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
How long have you been involved in Harley's life?
Since birth.
Okay. So what kind of contact do you have with Miss McDavid?
Only contact is I try FaceTime in Harley.
How often do you try to FaceTime Harley?
I'm sorry. Sorry, you're breaking up.
Okay. Miss Eersen, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how often have you attempted to contact Harley through Miss McDavid's phone?
I try at least weekly.
And are you able to speak to your granddaughter weekly?
When I try, yes. Now, there's been occasion when it wasn't every week, like when I went on vacation, I didn't, but I try and make a rule at least once a week.
Okay. And have you facilitated some of the exchanges where Harley has come through you, or you've picked her up to go to Louisiana for Mr. Eersen's visits?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Yes. Have you facilitated some of the exchanges where you've picked up Harley either with Mr. Eersen or without him?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And do you and Miss McDavid get along civilly? Are y'all okay?
I think so.
Okay. Have you been present for Mr. Eersen's visitations during the temporary order where the visits were to be supervised?
When they're here?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. When Mr. Eersen has his periods of possession, where does Harley sleep? Who's home?
Mine. I drive St. Rose, Louisiana.
Okay. And has there been any occasion during the temporary orders where the visits were to be at your home that they have not spent the night at your house?
Never.
Okay. During the visitations, have you had eyes on them the whole time, or have you just been home?
Have I had eyes on them the whole time, or what?
Or have you just been at the house and that's where Harley has slept and you know they've come and gone?
Well, I'm not going to tell you if I'm in the house and Harley's outside. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not following her around. I'm not understanding the question.
No, that was my question.
I'm really not understanding.
Okay. And that was my question. So have you noted anything of concern during the times that you've seen Mr. Eersen and Harley interacting?
No, I have not.
Okay. When she has been in your home during these periods of visitation, who is the primary caretaker for her?
Whoever's in the house with her, I take care of her. My daughter takes care of her. Shamar takes care of her. Is there something she needs? Someone's here. She's going to get it.
Okay. So, I mean, this may seem like a silly question, but is she provided with food, shelter, safety when she's
All of
with
the
you?
above.
Okay. Have you ever seen Mr. Eersen lose his temper around her or exhibit any kind of concerning behavior around his daughter?
I have not.
Okay. And I know that you love your son, but you understand that, you know, these proceedings are in the best interest of Harley. And so it's important that the judge know of any situation that caused you concern for your granddaughter.
No, I have none whatsoever.
Okay. And are you willing to continue to be involved in Harley's life moving forward in whatever capacity that the court orders, whether it's supervision or just, you know, visiting with her?
I am, and I'll say this. I don't know whether I was informed of how the operation works in the beginning. I didn't know that I had to be following her around. I've never had to deal with anything of this nature. And I feel that I was shortchanged by not having it explained in depth what my requirements were.
Ma'am, here's the deal. No, you're misunderstanding. You do not have to follow the child around. The child is just supposed to remain at your residence. Obviously, you got to live your life. He's got to live his. Everybody else has got to live theirs. So the main thing is, so long as the child remains at the residence, when dad has her, that's what we're looking at. Not that you actually having eyes on the prize the whole time. All right.
Okay, so I just need to get it straight in my head.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
can take her to the store and I don't have to
Oh, yes,
follow
ma'am.
him. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, I just need to get it straight. I appreciate that.
No problem. Yeah, you can take her to the movie. You can take her out to dinner. You know, y'all don't have to go out there. You know, let's face it. I got family too, and I don't want to see them 24/7. All right. So,
Yeah, because it's like put my life on hold.
my dog is different. I can deal with her 24/7, but everybody else, forget about it. So,
You know, and I also would like to add, as far as Harley sleeping away from my home, when she's here, she plays with my neighbors next door, the twins, which is like, we're like family, you know. And it was one occasion when Jordan, the baby twin, came over. Mama, can Harley sleep by my house? I'm like, no, baby, she can't sleep. She have to stay right here. And she understood that. So I would never, ever let her go somewhere where she, you know, I don't know where she is when I right next door with people she deal with every day when she's here, you know, and I would not allow that. No, never ever has she ever slept outside of my house, and that's on my life.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next question, Ms. Farron.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. I pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Greenwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss, may I have your name? I missed it. Sorry.
Eersen.
Miss Eersen, thank you so much. All right, Miss Eersen. So, as you just stated, were you clear as to what the guidelines of supervising Mr. Eersen meant when you were assigned that task?
Originally?
Yes.
No, I was not clear. When I asked the judge, as far as picking her up, does that mean each time I come, that he comes to pick up, I have to come? He said no, but it does mean when he comes to pick up, he has to come straight back to Louisiana. I understood that. So my takeaway was he gets to Louisiana, as long as she's at my home, we're good.
Okay. And when Mr. Thank you. Would Mr. Eersen leave with when he returned with your granddaughter to the house, would he take her out the home for maybe 2, 3, 4 hours?
I don't know if they ever went that long anywhere.
Okay. So you can't say for sure?
I cannot. I don't think they ever left away from me that long.
Okay. All right.
Carly is a baby and she want to be around little children. They've had little children here where she plays with. She's enjoying that. He's here, you know. Okay.
So is it your understanding now, if Mr. Eersen is to continue having supervised visits, that you, not that you're following the child around, that Harley remains to sleep at your household, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And that, are you aware that Mr. Eersen had was on probation for violating a protective order regarding Lena? Were you aware of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what does that have to do with anything with Harley?
Okay, ma'am. Just the question is, were you aware of it? The answer is yes. That's it.
Yes.
And is it your testimony that to your knowledge, has Mr. Eersen has any contact with Lena, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Got it. And have you spoken to Lena?
No, I have not.
And are you aware that Lena had, are you aware of any of your family members talking to Lena?
I don't know.
Okay. So if Lena found out about the custody situation regarding,
let's move on. Ms. Greenwood, she's a peripheral witness. Let's move on, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing you're going to go down this path is going to help the court with any decision I got to make today. I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah, this one's pretty much done.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else you think is pertinent, I'll let you go ahead and finish up with it, ma'am. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
No, ma'am. I'll allow you to ask the ad litem if she wants to speak to you after her question. But I'm sorry. I'll tell you what, ma'am. I'm gonna let Ms. Greenwood finish, and then I'll let you ask the question, and I'll see whether or not it's something that the court needs to answer based on having you testify today, ma'am. So, but anyway, Ms. Greenwood, I'll let you proceed. Thank you.
I lost my train of thought. Okay. Oh, my question was, I just want to clarify the court that you're not sharing custody information regarding Harley to Lanika. Is that correct?
No, I do not talk to Lanika.
All right, thank you. No more questions, Your Honor.
All right.
I pass the witness.
Mr. Moon?
I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Farah, anything on redirect?
Ms. Eersen, is there anything else that you feel like the court needs to know in making a decision with regard to your son's visitation with Harley?
My question I wanted to ask you, I called off some letters. I didn't understand what SRO or SPO, what does that mean?
Okay, no problem. SPO is a standard possession order, ma'am. Okay, so yeah, lawyers have a tendency to talk like lawyers, and sometimes we forget lay people haven't gone to advanced family every year for the last 20 years. So yeah, we get it, ma'am. Sorry, that's standard possession order. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay, all right. As far as visitation, I made on the last trip, I think it was the 20th, I made a trip to Falls County Sheriff Office. It was a 15-hour turnaround, only to find that Harley was not there and Harley was not coming. That was the second occasion where I made the trip there. That's not an easy drive. And I'm sure you all know, coming from Louisiana to Texas. And I was very hurt by her not being there. It wore me out having to drive 15 hours straight. So I just don't understand if the visitation is supposed to be pick up Thursday noon, return Sunday 6 p.m., why that didn't happen.
All right, ma'am. Okay. Thank you for the information. I'd forgotten about that circumstance, so you brought it back to my attention. But again, ma'am, I'm probably going to deal with that in any ruling I'm making going forward. Okay, thank you.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, then. Anything else on redirect recross, Ms. Greenwood?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Moon?
No, Your Honor.
All right, may Ms. Eersen be excuse Ms. Farah?
Yes, please, sir.
All right, guys, I'm gonna give y'all 15 more minutes on this one. So at best, because I still got to deal with my Bell County matter. So I'll allow you to call your next any other witnesses you wish to call at this time, Ms. Farah.
No, sir.
All right then, Ms. Greenwood, you're up.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. I would just like to call my my witness, Ms. McDavid, my client.
All right then. All right, Ms. Eersen, like I said, you've been released, so you can hang around and you can listen if you wish. And I'll go ahead and let Ms. Greenwood call her client, Ms. McDavid, at this time. Thank you. All right, you may proceed, Ms. Greenwood. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. You said 15 minutes. Okay. Is that each?
All right, Ms. McDavid, please state your full name for the record, ma'am, and unmute yourself. Sorry.
Arisha McDavid.
All right, you may proceed, Ms. Greenwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just for you said 15 minutes. Is that total or per person?
That's total.
Okay. Thank you.
So you've got about 5 minutes with your witness, ma'am. Again, we're doing for a temporary order, so yeah. So
thank you, Your Honor. All right, Ms. McDavid. All right. Do you have concerns with Mr. Eersen with the current supervised visits that Harley has with Mr. Eersen?
Yes, the only thing that I asked for as far as the supervised visits is just make sure they're being followed through. I don't have a problem with them being at Miss Eersen's home, his mom, Marilyn Eersen. I don't have a problem with that. Or even like she said, the neighbor next door that's like family, that's not a problem for me. I definitely want him to have a relationship with his daughter. My only big concern is, like if he has any type of history of anything with anyone specifically, that I don't want her in the mix of a crossfire in the event of something ever did take place or anything of that nature, given the fact that I do know how his anger and temperament can be. And I just wouldn't want my child in there, regardless of whom it could be with. But if he has a history with someone, I just don't want that to be a concern there.
Got it. And so what you're wanting the court to know is that so your main concern is that he's not in contact with anyone that may elicit a behavior that is volatile, correct?
Well, he can have personal contact. I just wouldn't want
When
my
your
child
is
around
present.
it.
When your
Yeah.
child is present.
When my
Got it.
child is present, I just wouldn't want my child around, around that specific person, regardless of whom it could be, given because there is, if there's any type of history there and then you have a toddler there that can be put in the mix of that, I just wouldn't want my child around that. Because today it can be good and tomorrow it can be bad. So I wouldn't
Got
want
it.
my child around it. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. And you heard the testimony of Lenika, and are you in agreement that she did contact you back in June?
She did contact me in June. Yes.
Okay.
And she contacted me the other day.
Okay. And thank you.
Yeah.
And she sent you text messages. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
They were pretty nasty.
Okay. And we're not going to say her phone number, but you did receive those text
Yeah.
messages. And Your Honor, I'd like to share my screen.
Okay, I wonder why.
Well, I just wanted to.
Well, I'm sorry. What's the relevance of getting the text messages from the person who I now absolutely believe that the child did not spend the night with? Okay, so unless you got something in those text messages to show that the child spent the night, then let's move on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't want to get I don't want to get into a drama between the two ladies here. They don't have to like each other. They don't have a child together. So so let's just move on from that at this point. If we have to have the final. We have the final here. If you're going to bring all this out, it's fine. But unless there's something in there relevant to the visitation, right, which we're trying to deal with today, then let's move on from it. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Your Honor. All right. And so as for visitation, we know that we're in July. So are you willing to have are you open to Mr. Eersen having be able to visit with Harley for at least a week? Are you open to that if it's properly supervised?
For a week?
Mm-hmm.
If it's supervised, I don't have a problem with it. The only thing I ask is when my child is gone, can I have some type of FaceTime or call acknowledgement?
McDavid, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had to let him chime in on this, but I was looking at based on the age of the child and the family code, dad's technically entitled to 42 days. I was probably looking at least 2 weeks on this thing. As far as summer visitation is concerned. So I'll let your attorney go into that issue. And I of course, I don't mind giving you FaceTime back with the child, but I want to take away, he's supposed to get 42 and give him 7. So he's short shift 35 days. So anyway, I'll let you go ahead and proceed on the presumption the court's going to give Mr. Eersen at least 14 days this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So with him having, as you've heard from the judge, 2 weeks, what you'd want nighttime calls, and again, that it'd be properly supervised. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And you heard that. Do you want your daughter to have a good relationship with her father?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to prevent your daughter from having a good relationship with her father?
No.
And given that we met back in May and then we were on hold for a bit because we needed to have another setting, did you still have those supervised? Was it clear to you that the temporary orders were still in place as to him exercising his visitation during the time that we had to meet again? I know that question may be unclear. Let me ask it again.
Yeah. Okay.
We went to court back at the end of May, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then Mr. Eersen was supposed to exercise his visit that first Thursday of the month, correct?
Correct.
And during that time while we were still waiting for the ruling, were you unclear as to whether or not he could still exercise his visits?
Oh,
During-
yes, because I thought that from speaking with Nora, as well as just everything from court, that we were waiting, but I thought the judge was actually going to make, well, I think we all did kind of sort of, it was going to be a lot sooner before the next visit. So I never heard anything at all. So that was very unclear.
Okay.
And I reached out to Nora and yourself several times in reference to that. But yeah, because that was a little unclear on that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And so, if given an order, will you follow the order when it comes to visitation and dropping off the child and making sure that Mr. Eersen is able to exercise his visits? Will that be an issue for you?
No, that won't be an issue. Like I've done before when it was very clear. I never had a problem with meeting him or his mom or anything. That was, like whenever, as long as it's clear, of course, for them and myself, I don't think there's an issue, but we just have to have it completely clear across the board.
Got it. Okay. All right. Your Honor, pass the witness.
All right, then, Ms. Farrer?
Yes, sir, briefly. How many visits did Mr. Eersen attempt to have since we were in court in May that Harley did not have with her father?
That he attempted in May since court? What was that?
It was 2 visits, correct?
No, he only attempted one because we had court on the 21st. So he only attempted after court. So no, the first one that he would have had in May, he didn't reach out at all. And which was kind of shocking to me, but he didn't reach out at all, not even to say if he was going to get her or not, but he didn't reach out.
Maybe my question was unclear. So he attempted to visit the child twice since court, though, correct?
Since court, yes.
Okay. And and you indicated that the reason that you did not allow him those visits, though he came to Marilyn, was because your attorney told you not to, or I told you not to?
Well, you specifically actually were the first one I talked to before even talking to my attorney. Before even going to court on the 21st.
Do you remember receiving an email from me that I also sent to your attorney on June the 5th stating that the temporary order was in effect?
Yeah, and I found it very interesting that the day that Shamar could have came and got her.
Well, here's the deal. You don't get to explain the answer. The answer was yes. Okay, I know everybody wants to tell the whole story behind it, but I'll let your attorney dig that part out. You may proceed, Ms. Farrer.
Did you get an email June the 5th indicating my position that the temporary order was still in effect?
Yes, on that specific date.
Okay. And you did not allow him the visitation when he came on, was it June the 6th, correct?
Stop. I do apologize. No. You didn't send me an email on the 5th. You sent me an email on the 6th after the noon PM pickup. Let's correct that. That's when you sent me something. And on the 5th, you did not send me anything. When I kept reaching out to you and your office and your paralegal, you guys did not answer other than your paralegal speaking with me.
Let's move on. This is not an enforcement, so I'll save that for a later date. So Ms. Farrer, go ahead with the next question, please. Thank you.
Did he have another visit after June the 6th that he would have been entitled to under the temporary order that you denied him?
Yes, he reached out to me, but that wasn't for his specific weekend because I was going based off the Attorney General Office calendar that I pulled up online through the OAG courts. There's a calendar and it tells you what weekends are the 1st, 3rd, and so forth. And so based off that calendar from the state calendar, that wasn't his specific weekend. And I informed him of that and I even apologized of that, in which you're in that thread. And nothing ever took place.
The court order in this case is a non-standard order wherein he gets the 1st and 3rd Thursdays of the month, correct?
No. This is according to what I read. So clear it up if I have it wrong.
Stop, guys. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish this one later. Again, as far as but right now I'm getting ready to go ahead and give Dad some summer visitation. I'm getting ready to go ahead and the exchanges will take place on time. And and we're not going to have grandmother driving all the way to Falls County, Texas, and not being able to pick up a child. I don't, here's the deal. I'm sorry, guys. I'm an old Army brat. My dad was 20-something years. And his big thing, you don't make excuses, because in the Army, you make excuses, people die. And I don't accept excuses. I want the results. And if I can't, if it comes before the court as a formal motion and the excuse is not valid enough to overcome the motions, then the court will deal with it. The excuse is valid enough to overcome the motion, then I'll deny the motion. But the bottom line is, it's going to be understood today when the exchange is going to take place, where it's going to take place, and how long it's going to take place for. Otherwise, we're going to have a very upset judge, and I'll deal with that after that. So at this time, again, I'm sorry, this is going on, so and I got to go ahead and do this other case, and I've got to do that in the next 5 minutes. So here's what we're going to look at doing. Mr. Eersen, the day is Friday, June 28th. I'm looking at giving you 2 weeks with this child coming up, and I'm looking at starting that next Thursday, which is the 4th of July. I say the 4th of July is for the pickup and drop off, for the pickup, and I'm looking at giving you all the way to. Let me bring my calendar up. The pickup is on the July the 4th. Return will be the Saturday of the 20th. So that's a total of 16 days for summer visitation. I will get you here on back here, bring the child back on the 20th and do it on a Saturday. So that way it won't maybe get out some traffic. There may be some traffic on the 4th of July, but I'm going to go ahead and have you live with that. And you pick this child up on Thursday, 4th of July at noon, and return the child at, and I'm going to give you all the way to, it's a long drive. I'm going to give you all the way to 5 p.m. on the 20th of July. Can you do that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Yes, ma'am. You have okay, I'm going to give you you're next.
Okay,
Now,
I'm sorry. I just have one quick question.
Yes,
and that really is because the 4th, I'm being considerate here because the 4th is on the day you're giving him. What time would that pickup be for the 4th?
Noon.
Oh, okay. So, I definitely would want her to see like some fireworks or, something, and not just by their.
Here's the deal. That's going to be my order. July it would normally be the whole thing. You would never, going forward, if we keep the custody where it is, you'll probably never spend another 4th of July with this child until the child is over the age of 18 going forward. If dad exercises standing visitation going forward, it is what it is. They get the non-custodial party gets July. I'm sorry, under 30 days or 42 days. So
no, I was actually going to say if we could scoot it up a day, just scoot it up.
I'm fine with that too.
For both, like from the 3rd to the 19th instead. That's all I was going to suggest.
All right, well, again, I know fireworks displays are all weekend long usually, but again, if you're worried about missing the fireworks and you want to do it on Wednesday instead, and then still come back on that Saturday, I've obviously got no problem with that, ma'am. Okay.
What?
Thank you.
Well, I was actually saying scoot it up a day to where it's the 3rd to the 19th.
I'm sorry?
The 3rd to the 19th, if we could.
Well, I was going to do it. I want to keep it private on Saturday, ma'am. But if you want to do it on the 3rd, I can get it. I'll do it a day early on the 3rd. But I want them to come back on a Saturday, and that way he can come back late on Saturday and not on Friday. Again, I want to try to keep him out of traffic as much as possible.
Oh, well, can we do a little earlier on Saturday? I'm sorry, I had already bought tickets.
Your Honor.
Something for that Saturday. I do apologize, and I'm just trying to kind
of. Unfortunately, no. I said 5 o'clock. I want 5 o'clock. I don't want to. I'm trying to get again. I'm looking at distance. I'm trying to keep people getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning to drive. So I wanted it on Friday. I was going to do it on I wanted it on that Saturday, and I wanted it at 5 p.m. You or your designated days can be there for the child's return. Okay.
Okay, so we're doing away with the 14 days to 16 days, is what you're saying?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to set up.
Your Honor.
And I see everybody's got their hand up, so we're going to go ahead and proceed with the rest of the things that everyone else needs. All right, Mr. Moon, you're first.
Couple questions. In the prior order, the mother waived the non-disclosure finding, but after we did the order, I think she contacted our office and indicated that she didn't want her employer listed in the order.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a concern. Is that a concern anymore?
Yes, it's still a concern.
Here's the deal, ma'am. Have your lawyer do stuff like that going forward. I'm sorry, did Ms. Greenwood do that, or did Ms. McDavid do that? I'm sorry.
This is before I was hired. Miss McDavid did that, but we did discuss it in the last hearing in length as to that employee. And you did mention the fact that it was way before that it may not be able to be waived again. So we did discuss that in the prior
Once
hearing.
we usually have a waiver, we don't undo the waiver, but so that was that. So yeah. So at this time, yeah, it's not undone, Mr. Moon. Thank you.
Okay, and so so this is going to be a second temporary order. We're keeping everything the same, other than adding these 2 weeks or whatever.
Those 16 days, yes, sir.
Okay, but other than that, the visitation would still revert after that to what we already have, right? The standard long distance with and hopefully I'm gonna try to get this done before the end of August so we can factor in how we're gonna do it going forward with the school year. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but after July 20th, is it still going to be the first and third Thursday through Sunday still?
Yeah.
Back. Does that make sense?
Because the kid starts. We could find out when the kid starts school. Because I imagine in August we would need to revert to a standard SPO.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Moon. Let's go ahead and keep that first one in August, okay? But the second, hopefully, we'll have mom give us some information when school starts, and we'll deal with that going forward. Because again, we're probably going to give up a Thursday once school starts and do it. And but that first Thursday is probably going to be fine. School's not going to start that early.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm sorry. School starts August 5th. I want to cut you off just for a second. School starts August 5th, so it do kind of start a little early, Judge.
Which ISD?
Marilyn ISD.
So Marlon starting the 5th. Okay,
Yes.
well, the first Thursday is the 1st of August, so she won't be in school then. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Your Honor, just to make sure we're clear, before we get back into court, so there's no confusion. So if he's exercising it on that first Thursday, would we just given the long distance, are we just doing 1 weekend out the month?
Well, for right now, that's the only one that's going to be court ordered. If we come back, we'll fix it. We'll set everything else up. If he wants to do 2 weekends a month and wants to drive to Louisiana, I'll give him 2 weekends a month going forward. But after that, I need to see what the child's school schedule is before we come up with something, because we're going to have to move it from Thursdays to Fridays or even Saturdays based on the school schedule and the time frames. Right?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So would we, I guess, once the coordinator, be able to get in before then? Before the...
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do the reset right now. So I'm going to go ahead and see what y'all's schedules are. And let me bring up the Zoom calendar and see when we can get this done.
To avoid any issues.
I do have the academic calendar for Marilyn ISD pulled up, and I can send it to everybody if the court needs to see that.
Here we go. All right. Okay. The week advanced family is that
August 5th through 8th.
To the 8th, yeah.
Okay. All right. So the following week, let's see what I've got.
Yeah, let me look at my calendar too.
Monday the 12th. That's Comanche. I've already got that full. Oh wow, everybody wants to come on. That's the biggest Comanche docket I've had in a long time. All right, let's see. There's the journal. There's this. All right, looks like I got the afternoon on Monday the 19th available of August, and that's the live docket. I have some time that late afternoon, and then I've got all day Friday on August the 23rd available for a morning or an afternoon hearing. So what's everybody's schedule look like on those 2 days?
The 23rd works better for me, Your Honor, but
Yeah, the 23rd works for me too. Would Miss McDavid?
Yeah, that works.
All right, morning or afternoon, Ms. Farah, did you say?
I didn't, that day is actually completely clear. So whatever works for everybody else works for me.
Yeah, I'm good too. We could do the morning, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Eersen, I'm looking at doing a 9:30 hearing on Friday, the 23rd, on Dorothy's birthday. So,
One more time, y'all. I could not hear you.
okay, Friday, August the 23rd, I want to see about trying to wrap this up. Well, hopefully, but you know, I can end up in another temporary hearing. But are you available on August 23rd at 9:30 a.m., sir?
August 23rd, yes, sir. But while I have you, like, can I ask one quick question?
What's your question, sir?
Okay, in our order, you had where I was supposed to be provided details of where Harley is going to school. She has taken me off of the school's app,
Okay.
and I'm trying to
Still,
see
man,
about.
you put him on everything in that ISD immediately. Understood? If you took him off, I'm not gonna say you did. All right, he's saying you did.
Oh.
That's hearsay. But the bottom line is, you do everything to make sure
He's talking
Dan's
about
included
daycare.
and has access to everything under that ISD. Understood?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because like currently I have no idea where she is.
Okay. So, and ma'am, I want you to through your counsel, or you can do it through your counsel. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead and make sure that, like I said, Dad's on all the school records and that he is listed and has full access. And I'll have him and Miss Farah confirm that he has been added to the child's information and has been the father on the school records. Okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I'll make sure he's on there. The only thing I ask is, can we definitely be, I know the 23rd is a good day, or I'll make it a good day, but I just had one quick question, Judge, before we go. And that is about the health insurance. I don't want to move
Right.
forward.
Okay, ma'am. You're getting ready to go into another area. You need to run that through your lawyer. I'm sorry. So if your attorney has something to deal with the prior order, if there's something with the health insurance circumstance of the prior order, then I'm going to save that for the 23rd. Because again, folks, it's 20 to 4, and I've kept these people waiting around there for 40 minutes. So,
Yeah.
So
Okay, so so it will be the first and the third I'm sorry, in August on the visitation. And
no,
then
only the first.
Only the first weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're going to have to move it from Thursdays because she's going to be in school. Okay.
Got it. Perfect.
And
all right.
And so, Your Honor, so then he wouldn't be able to, so there's no court ordered visitation until after court.
Right. Can we come back on the
Until
23rd
court.
and I'll set him up and see if he wants to do once a month like the long distance allows. He wants to do twice a month. Okay.
Got it, Your Honor.
But is there a visitation in August?
Yeah, the first.
Yes,
The first.
the
Thursday
Okay,
of
just the
August.
first. Okay. I misunderstood. Okay, good.
Got it. Okay, and then, Your Honor, you also mentioned something about child support. Were we still ruling on that, or were we reserving it?
I'll tell Mr. I'll reserve that for that time. But Mr. Eersen, everything the court has reviewed based on the circumstances and the initial information I've got. The court's looking at finding that if you're looking at leaving to go back to school, I'm gonna probably find that you're underemployed, sir, and keep child support at a higher amount. Based on your educational level and that going forward. Now, if you got if you hired a lawyer, I'll let hopefully by then your lawyer will file the answer and come in with guns blazing to explain to the court why the court should not find your child support at a higher level based on the fact that you already have an MBA in finance. Okay, I think this is this case. So we'll take all that up at the final hearing, but I'm letting you know where I'm coming from right now, sir. You got the absolute right to go back to school and become a vet if you want. But I got the absolute right to order you to pay child support based on what an MBA in finance should earn. So it is what it is.
That's based on
But like I said, you got a lawyer, get your lawyer on that one, sir, okay?
Yeah.
Question.
Right. Anyway, we're through.
Okay.
Ma'am, you're not a lawyer. You can't, I'm sorry, ma'am. I know you're the grandmother, and I know you've got to put up with all this because you're the grandmother. But ma'am, you're not a lawyer and you're not allowed to ask me a question. I'm sorry, ma'am. That's just the rule. Mr. Eersen has a lawyer, have his lawyer file everything he thinks is necessary. But ma'am, if you're asking a question about the provisions as far as picking a child up, I'll let you go ahead and ask that. But if there's
that's what I was going for.
Okay,
Now, I
now
don't,
what's your question then?
okay, I'm just want to know, as far as coming all the way to Marilyn, to pick her up, why can't we be halfway? I don't know how it came about, where we
Okay,
have
well,
to.
for right now, ma'am, I'm gonna go ahead and make the point to pick up at Maryland, and then at the final hearing, if the other side, if y'all are asking for a 50-50, but right now, technically, Maryland is the child's home of record, and under the Texas Family Code, pickup and drop off is at the home of record spot. So if mom and child are still living in Falls County, then under Texas law, they're supposed to pick up in Falls County and drop off in Falls County. All right.
Okay,
Address that would be, I believe, at the police station, at the Falls County Sheriff's Department.
right.
Yes.
I didn't know why. That's all. He's answered my
All
question.
right.
Thank you.
Ma'am, it's part of the family code, so thank you.
Okay,
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta go. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and end this one, and I will see. I'll have the state prepare the order circulated. If there's something else y'all need to get back in and do, just call my office. But like I said, I got these other folks, and I got to deal with.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
We're on the record.
Bye-bye.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I really wanted to hear the texts between the ex-girlfriend and the mother. I would have loved to hear what those said. But I guess it's not really appropriate for this hearing. They weren't needed. And it was just off on another tangent. Anyway. And, Grandma should not have to drive 15 hours to pick up the child and have the child not be there. And I still don't know the reason the mother was withholding parenting time. She just decided not to. You just decided she wasn't going to take her to meet with the grandma. Never really found out why. Anyway, hopefully that will not happen again. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.